Looks like spring is here finally. Or anyway, something like spring. Anyways, I decided to start making some effort to fill that hole in the firewall with brake pedal and master cylinder and brake booster and all that other happy stuff. And yeah, we gotta get these brakes finished up. I bought a master cylinder, brake booster, change out. Oops. So there's the new unit. Can't remember where I put the old one now. I was going to use this new pedal that came with it. That screws in there. But if I use this pedal, that means that I have to relocate the master cylinder and brake booster so the center hole, is there. I'd have to weld this hole all in, all those holes, and move put a new hole in, center of where that little white dot is there. Now, in doing that, all this wiring is going to have to be changed. So I thought, well, I could weld that all in and move all the wiring, or maybe just buy a new wiring harness. But there's nothing wrong with this wiring. It works. And I'd just as soon not change the wiring right now. Maybe later on down the road. One of the problems is with the other brake booster that was on here, it was a 12-inch booster. And with it on there, you could not get the rocker cover off without removing the booster. So, the new booster is much smaller. I think it's around 9 inches. And that'll give me just enough room so that I can change that rocker cover or take it off whenever I feel like it. I do have a brand new pair of Offenhauser aluminum rocker covers for this motor that I bought through Summit Racing. So I'm going to put those on it, and the new brake booster, and I'm going to use my old pedal that I put in it years ago when I was just a young pup. This pedal here, but I have to make an adapter because the holes, the bolt pattern on the pedal does not match the bolt pattern on the booster. So I'm going to make an adapter to do that with out of some steel. And I'm just cutting the steel to length, and then I'm going to do some hole drilling and some welding and see if I can make this work. Anyways, pitter patter, let's get at her. Well, crap, I cut it 3 times and it's still too short. got to hang on to that vise tight, because if your drill bit snags in the metal and you let that vise go, then that vise will start spinning around like a windmill. Maybe not on this machine, but under the right circumstances, it should stop there, I hope. And then you let it up, vise spinning around, falls off, flies out here, and hits you right in the junk. So hang on. Okay, we had to shorten these studs up a little bit because they were interfering inside here with the bolts that come through the firewall. We don't need them to be that long anyways on this application, so shortened them up and then touched up the threads, smoothed them out a little bit to take the burr off of them. And hopefully we'll soon have this ready to install. And that truck, better make sure I got the right one for the right side. These two are slightly different. And there's a ridge in the firewall that I had to compensate for. There. Just takes a lot of patience sometimes to do this stuff, and sometimes doesn't matter how much patience you have, at the end of the day it didn't work anyways. But that's why you just got to spend a lot of time doing the thinking and the engineering part. Okay, so that goes on there, like, and this bolts to the firewall, and this pedal will be on the inside of the firewall. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, so this environmental inside of it. Well, I lost my nuts. No, I didn't. Is this a nut that I need? Anyways. I guess you can see where we're going with this. Now once I get that push rod attached to the brake pedal arm, and we'll be able to install it. I got to make an adjustment on this pedal to give me more clearance on the head of my bolt that bolts to the push rod on the master cylinder, and I need more clearance for that bolt head. So I'm going to put a little bend in this. I'm going to do one there. I put a mark on it to see to spot up where I'm going to get this to bend it. Okay, there's our bend. First bend, second bend. This used to be right through here, was straight before, and that should give us lots of room for the head of that bolt once it's in the pedal mount. So let's get it together and see what happens. Okay, we got this all put together now. Pedal is now attached to the push rod. In there. I'm going to put some paint on the bare metal on those brackets. And while I'm at it, I think I'm going to paint the pedal arm as well. I've heated it up a couple of times, actually a number of times in its history. And yeah, I'll throw some paint on it just to keep it from going rusty and uglier. And once the paint dries, I think that we're ready to get dirty and install it in here. And close that drafty hole. Anyways, we're coming along.